Oh boy. Hi everybody. How's everybody doing? You guys doing okay? Ah, so it's the day, the Game Awards. They got nominated. And there were several wins. I was pretty irritated with the overall nominees, but we'll go over that in a second here. First of all, welcome in everybody. If you haven't felt like it yet, but want to, definitely like it's a rough year for democracy. I know it feels like, yeah, this is just like one more thing on top of like, the other big thing, and then the Tyson fight, and now this, it just the whole thing feels so off, so rigged. The frustration of November 5th is starting to fade a little. That's good for you, Drumjod. I'm not quite there yet, but I think people should try and get there. Also, how's everything looking with everything? How's stream quality, etc.? My mod R's is very unwell today, and sadly can't be here, and I certainly am okay with that. You're okay with it? Yeah, me too. I hope the same. So, I will be playing more Rebirth. Okay, I'm going to be playing from where I left off, which was the Return to Nibelheim. So, sunny Nibelheim. Right now, I'm on YouTube and Twitch. Just choose whichever stream works better for you, honestly. That's my suggestion to you. Also, did the music come in, and am I overpowered by the music? Yeah, box smashing time. First diabolic creation time and Wutai lore time, though, which is good. But I'm actually going to start. Oh, thank you. Let me get my... Thank you for the follow and the subscriptions that I just got. I can't see you yet, but I will be able to see you shortly. Did you vote for Rebirth for all 7? I only did 6 out of the 7, to be honest. I might not do all of them. I also think it was robbed on 1. I thought it was robbed on art design, but we're gonna vote now, actually. Yeah, we're gonna vote now, in fact. So yeah, we're gonna start voting here. But give me just a second. I'll be right back. Let me rotate the camera a little. It's gonna slowly move back. Okay, hold on. Let's just... move the whole thing. Oh, fuck. With 3 different logins? So, okay, things to... Alright, wow. Okay, things to note real quick. I'm gonna vote here in just a second. Let me move my thing though. Actually, what we can do. We'll move you down. I've needed to do this anyways, to be honest. Okay. So, wish you could turn down the music and effects and make the voice more hearable because they overpower the voice over, which is why the subtitles are on. I mean, I can, yeah. I'll adjust the game stuff when we're playing. I have a lot to say on this, but I'm gonna go use the little boys' room first real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so FYI, right off the bat, let me start with this. So before we vote, people are really, like, just in general, undereducated about how this works. Okay, so let's look at the awards process. How are winners selected? Okay, most people seem not to know this. Winners are determined by a blended vote between the voting jury, 90%, and public fan voting, 10%. Fans can vote for their favorite games on the Game Awards, and China fans can vote on Bilibili. Voting closes December 11th. So, why? Why don't fans select 100% of the winners? Creating a 100% fan vote presents several challenges. First, given that some games are exclusive to one platform, a public vote puts single-platform games at an inherent disadvantage and multi-platform titles. In addition, it is important that winners cannot be socially engineered in any way. We find that a blended vote is the most credible and authentic way to select winners. This is 100% true. It's not just it's not just like the bots that we're worried about. Social engineering is a real thing too. Also, the reason critics awards are generally more respected in any forum has to do with the concept of media literacy, right? So most critics consume all the media. So they have like a much more informed base of media literacy to see how well effective something is achieving its own goals, how bold it is in pushing forward the craft. And also within industry, there is just an inherent value to understanding how things are made in understanding what's really achieved. So you want, like, there's a, like, I'm sure you've all seen the "you wouldn't get it" meme, you know, from the Joker, and it's very erudite and it comes across snooty and elitist. But here's the deal. Do you want art selected by the people that are most likely to completely understand it? Can you put your own ego aside a little bit and say, hey, maybe people that are really into art maybe understand it better, and they should be the one who judges it? It's not to say that your particular tastes in the Marvel movies aren't great, but, you know, there's a reason that Tarantino's gonna win an award over Kevin Feige, right? You know, it's just a way. It's just a way. Okay, so and it's also like an artistic standard. So the Game Awards doing that makes it sort of respectful of the way other art does it, and validates that video games are art, you know, in the same way that movies and cinema are art. So this has a value to the craft to do it this way. So we're gonna vote, but it doesn't matter. Like it's only 10% of the vote. Here's the other thing. As in terms of popularity, this is going to be the most socially engineered one, because I'm going to tell you what's going to win every single popular vote. Black Myth Wukong. And that's not because it's the best game. That's because it's the only game one of the largest voting percentages in the world was allowed to play really this year. You know, that's just the way that it is. Rides the Shoe Park, welcome in. Nice to meet you here too. So I'm gonna, before I start playing, and I'm not gonna play as long today as normal, because I've got like life shit to do. But I'm gonna vote and we'll talk about everything. There's some controversy here, for sure, and I think it's deserved. Did I play Metaphor? Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay. I'm going to run an ad break for everybody so that people that aren't subscribed or members don't lose a chunk of what I'm about to say. Welcome in, Joe. Joe DNS. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What was that noise? Let's look. Oh, Black Lion Guard. Thank you for the gift subs. Which of these games have you played? So, West Elm Caleb, I've played almost everything this year. I've been pretty complete this year. I feel pretty good about having a solid sense of the way things are. Oh yeah, even definitely Metaphor. Metaphor is the second best game of the year to me. Easy. I'd give it a solid 9.6. Every time I hear content creators talking about Rebirth bloat, I just think, I mean, that's fine. You can feel that way. But, God, I hope... I mean, there's an issue with self-regulation, and I don't know. Some people like games that you can self-regulate on. So it's really hard to say that... I think there is an inherent issue with negotiating with that level of content terrorism. I've played some Balatro. I played Plucky Squire. I felt Plucky Squire was a little overrated. Animal Well is incredible. Animal Well is like on my top 5. As a Persona guy, I don't get it with Metaphor. So there are some things about Persona that I like more. I'll tell you one thing that I do really like about Metaphor more is no relationships. I don't need that in my life. No Atome anything. Yeah, Donkey's got the Animal Well one. But I mean he just published it. It's really just one guy who made an incredible game. So okay, let's do this. Let's vote for our games of the year. Let's go through each category. Wow. It's having trouble loading. Oh my god. Great. China is blowing up those votes. God damn it. But one thing I do like about Persona 5 is all-out attacks. I actually don't like the combat in Metaphor as much. Wow. Can't even vote. Okay, well, while the site gets its shit together, the most controversial thing is that for some reason Erdtree was allowed to exist in the category. And that's legitimately a travesty to me. I don't, and I'm not even really against DLC necessarily being in the category. I'm against DLC that requires you to play for 20 to 30 minutes or 20 to 30 hours within a game. And most people played more. It was absolutely an expansion. Okay, wow. Starting right off the bat with Game of the Year. Okay, so, first of all, this list is not the list that I would choose. Okay. 4 of these titles I genuinely believe belong here. Rebirth, ReFantazio, Astrobot, and Balatro. Wukong does not belong here. I'm sorry, it does not. It was a good game, but it was not a great game. The reason it's here is because of its financial success and the fact that it is the only game many Chinese citizens got to play. Okay? So, because of what it represented for Chinese history, the Chinese government even incentivized playing this game. They gave people time off of work to play this game. There are huge billboards and commercials commemorating historical elements of China that appear in this game. Black Myth Wukong is about Journey to the West, which is the most quintessential Chinese legend and story. So that's why Wukong destroyed sales records, is because most of it was China. So if you look at Metacritic, most people, again, with some degree of media literacy that played all the titles this year, gave it an 81, which isn't terrible, but it's an 81, right? Like, it's a low 8. And that's right. And I played the shit out of Wukong. It is has a really kind of mediocre presentation until the last chapter. Last chapter has good presentation, but it is also like an absolute system breaker, you know. The other element was it was heavily boosted by, for whatever reason, anti-woke grifters who I doubt played, you know. I doubt those people played Black Myth Wukong, because Black Myth Wukong does have some very standard anti-capitalist messaging that you're going to find in a Chinese game, right? It's also really heavy on censorship. But because one of the developers said something misogynistic, anti-woke grifters picked it up and started running with it. So that's part of the reason it's in the conversation too. So, to absolute fairness to Black Myth Wukong, it's a good game. I think Black Myth 2 will be one of the best games ever made, because the studio's now got its legs. But there's a bunch of jank in the game, and the combat just was not that sophisticated or fun. You feel crazy playing it. A game that had better combat is easily Stellar Blade. I think Stellar Blade deserves this spot more than Black Myth Wukong. A lot of people are upset that Silent Hill 2 remake didn't make this list. That's fair. Silent Hill 2 was really good. It is one of the better games this year. I'm personally a little bummed that Like a Dragon didn't make it, just because it's, you know, sort of the end of a saga. But I also understand the choice. Tekken 8, I think, had these nominations been in June, Tekken 8 would have been here, not because there's better competition, but because Tekken 8 took a huge nosedive in quality in the last 6 months somehow. It's hard to explain if you're not into it, but Tekken 8 is just it's kind of, the fandom turned on it. So I'm not ultra surprised Tekken 8 didn't make it to this list. P3R. I think the reason Persona 3 Reloaded isn't here is because Metaphor ReFantazio isn't here. And if people felt like, oh, they had to get there somehow. Elden Ring doesn't belong on here, I agree. I also agree that I also think that Black Myth Wukong just doesn't belong here. You know, and I've said that real clear. Hold on. Okay. Button, taking it with one button. Yeah. So the game I think kind of belonged here was Animal Well, but I also think that something that they have a tendency to do is like put one indie in at a time. And Balatro, I think most people consider to be a better indie game than Animal Well. Probably the best indie game. So I had a feeling Stellar Blade would get massively snubbed overall. So I'm not surprised. But this is atrocious. Anyways, let's vote. So for me, my top 3 games in this order are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, followed by Metaphor ReFantazio, followed by Astrobot. And I do have a vote for that. I have a video coming as to why I feel that way. But we're waiting. Okay, best game direction. So this is a creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Now, for this, I also think that Rebirth wins this one. For this, though, I would say that for game direction, I would say that my top 3 are Rebirth, followed by Astrobot, followed by Balatro. I think that game direction wise, ReFantazio just doesn't do enough differently in terms of like the overall formula. So all that the director had to do was just really hone in on the formula, which he does well. Rebirth, I think, does some really wild stuff in terms of blending a narrative-driven game with a huge open-world game, and had a absolutely Herculean struggle ahead of it, you know, that it, I think, just absolutely dominated. Yeah, I did mention Like a Dragon not making it on here, and bums me out a little bit. Okay, so Rebirth is my vote for this. Yeah, Astrobot was really innovative. Like, this one's hard for me. I would almost go Astrobot for game direction. Best narrative. Okay. So now we're down to the 5 categories. Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Fantazio, Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2. Okay. So, I have 2 issues in this category. I played Infinite Wealth. Yeah. I liked Infinite Wealth. It wasn't my favorite in the series, but I liked it. Okay, so I think there are two things in this category that don't belong. Silent Hill 2, I don't think belongs, because it really, even though there was some meta plot that was different, there was. and some extra endings. It was, other than that, just Silent Hill 2. Yeah, I can't play all the games on stream. I played some of them. I did Hellblade 2 in one sitting. Hellblade 2 has one of the most disappointing stories I've ever played. I was so disappointed with Hellblade 2's story because Hellblade 1 had such a good narrative. So I think it dropped the ball so hard it doesn't belong on here. This is going to be the one that people are probably the most upset with me about. But, in my opinion, Metaphor ReFantazio has the better narrative. And so I'm going to be voting for Metaphor for narrative alone. That's not to say that Rebirth's narrative isn't good. It's really good. And I like it better than most people. But it is inherently narratively less ambitious because it is, one, a remake, two, it is more concerned with thesis statements without conclusions. Part 3 is where we're going to see conclusions to the narrative, right? So that's part of it. There are some narrative choices that are made that I was not necessarily for in this part of the game. Also, in the OG, I feel like this segment of the OG is narratively the least impressive. That said, I was still blown away by Rebirth's narrative. It is easily my number 2 here. However, Metaphor ReFantazio sets up its premise, sets up subversion, does a plot twist really well, and it's a complete story. It sticks to its messaging and delivers on said messaging. Is it a perfect narrative? No. The last 5/6 of Metaphor ReFantazio are JRPG, like, trope central. It gets very tropey. Okay? So it's the better narrative for me. Don't get mad at me. I love all of you. It does lack some potency in the end. This wasn't a good story game year. Like, if I'm being honest, I thought my number 3 choice for story wasn't even nominated, and it was fucking Shadow of the Erdtree. So this hasn't been a great story year. Okay. This fucking category is bullshit. This is where Rebirth was robbed, in my mind. So, which one of these games has the best artistic design? Rebirth has the best artistic design. I was pretty upset here. Okay. But if I were to choose here between Neva, which I haven't got a chance to play yet, and but I do really like Devolver, and I really want to play this game. Metaphor, despite having just janky Metaphor graphics, like Atlas graphics, did a lot with a little. With, like, the fixed... I mean, there's so much visually I like about the game. Shadow of the Erdtree is a pretty game. Wukong is only pretty in like the last part in my mind. Astrobot, 10/10 art direction. Non-stop good. So to me, this is a dead tie between Astrobot and Metaphor. So I'm going to vote for Metaphor. Best score in music. Holy fuck. Rebirth is the only game that I've seen DF criticize the art of it, and I agree. Return must be a graphical powerhouse like 16 was. I mean, there's so many ways in which I think Rebirth looks better than 16. Facial animations, character models. Like, just even in side quest cutscenes, seeing how much better Rebirth handles like character models and animations without that like CBU smooth face sort of thing. I mean, there I can't really get behind that. I also think some of the choices were so befuddling with 16's. I mean, I mostly saw DF criticizing its visuals, and I think they're pretty much, now with the Pro out, they're kind of out. I think the visual design is just better overall. And not having that weird sheen, that code of like kind of bizarre World of Ruin. There are like the icon battles are cinematic, definitely. You know, and there's a few like really interesting set pieces, but overall it never beat the allegations about color, you know. There might be a conflation with technical issues and art issues, and it does seem like Digital Foundry is now like way peeled back on technical issues, at least for the Pro version. Yeah, I agree. Slight transitions while not stopping. Okay, so this is one hell of a category, okay? Because there's no category that's closer, and this is also the correct. This is the correct 5 votes for soundtrack. I've thought about this a lot because this is my hardest one. Okay, so just to go over everything, Astrobot has some fucking bangers. They're straight up bops. And they're really vibe appropriate. Everything's really perfect for what the game is. However, it's a small game. It's a little game. And so even the sum of its parts, even though it gets a good, perfect score, does it compare to the body of work and overall music design of these other titles? Let's go through it. Rebirth has an expansive soundtrack. I mean, just a huge soundtrack that does a lot of different things, has a lot of different composers. Some of it is reused from Remake, though. Also, has some of the best tracks I've ever heard from a Square game, but they're all off the soundtrack. All of the best titles in my opinion, are things that weren't included in the soundtrack. And I think that's because they're a precursor to Part 3's soundtrack. So stuff in the live stream, etc. Really good soundtrack. Okay? However, a lot of it's reused. The only mold breaking stuff, like I said, is the stuff that I think they're getting to do in Part 2. All of the stuff they did do that was new, they did flawlessly. You know, I do wish there were more synths in the overall soundtrack, but there wasn't, and that's just the way that it is. They did perfect on all the locations that we were looking forward to. They went hard on some weird titles like the Stamp song. The heavy metal Stamp battle song was fucking awesome. So Rebirth is definitely up there. Okay, Metaphor ReFantazio has some of the highest highs musically. However, as I've like listened to everything again, because I went through and listened to all the tracks again, it really just hits a couple of times on like boss music, and it does this thing where it gets worse as the game goes on. It gets less inventive, in my opinion. Like, it loses the things that I think make it good as it goes on. So I think Metaphor ReFantazio has probably my favorite tracks overall. However, the overall soundtrack is probably the lowest on the list for me. So again, we're having a ton of trouble finding where it goes. Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is like okay, why Silent Hill 2 is impressive is it is a love letter to a weird, hard to reproduce genre of music, which is early 2000s Konami. It's really hard to find a way to make music feel like that and still modern. And what Rebirth elected to do, or what 7R elected to do for the most part, was just let an orchestra do it. And that looks good, that sounds good, and we got good sounding things, but it's a less monumental task somehow. For me, it's a harder niche to fill. Silent Hill 2 sort of flawlessly did what it wanted to do in that. However, again, I don't find myself listening to the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack as much, and I am listening to the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. Stellar Blade. Okay. Okabe does most of the heavy lifting in this soundtrack. Okabe does the Nier soundtrack, which is my favorite game music in the world. So it's really hard this year. Like I said, it is so hard this year. There are 2 or 3 Okabe tracks that I really like that are just bops. They're just bangers. Overall, it is just not as impressive of a body of work as some of these other games. So I am still going to go with Rebirth. Final vote. But this one was the hardest one. This is the closest one for me. Best audio design. Okay, so with audio design, there are things about all of these games that probably have, I haven't really played Call of Duty Black Ops 6. But fuck Activision. Okay. So Astrobot has an audio design element that's really good, which is the way that it works with DualSense. Okay. This is probably good and immersive and helps you train to be a better meat shield for a country that doesn't give a fuck about you. Rebirth has some cool sound design issues. Things like music design is really good. Like finding very intricate ways to start and stop music appropriate to the setting dynamically. Other than that, sound effects don't super stand out. Everything is, I mean, it's a monumental task to do a game this large and do all the audio for it. But I don't feel it really pushing the forum right that much. It's like not pushing norms. So until about like last month, I would have said the best audio design I've ever heard in a game is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Definitely it disappointed me with every other element of it, but the audio design is truly immersive. Like the way that you get transitioned, the use of 3D audio, the use of the different voices to create like a sense of things, pretty phenomenal. Okay, definitely good. However, Silent Hill 2 is the easiest win here. Silent Hill 2 has the best sound design in a game where sound design is super important. So Silent Hill 2 gets the easy win on this for me. Okay, this one. Hoo boy. Okay. Woo. I have a lot of feelings about performance, right? So, I love Brianna White. And I think that I understand why she was chosen as the representative of Rebirth in the Game Awards. I do not think that she was the best performer, and she had a good performance. I do not think she had the best performance in Rebirth. I think both John Eric Bentley and Cody got absolutely robbed here. Why I think Cody got robbed is Cody didn't just like nail Cloud, he also nailed Zack as Cloud. He has so many different dimensions, like the difference between the way he acts in, say, after the live stream sequence when he's, you know, in Gongaga, that is such a nuanced performance. As he's starting to lose it, like, it is the most complex performance. And then in terms of like a sheer, like a raw scene, John Eric Bentley's performance as Barrett with Dyne was so fucking phenomenal. And so I feel weird because I want Rebirth to get credit for performance because these are really good. There's going to be There's going to be some shippers saying that, you know, oh, this is shipper related. Okay. I even think that in this game, Aerith's character was overall more interesting than Tifa's. And Tifa's character was really interesting this time. Like, far more interesting than I would have expected for this portion of the game. However, I still also believe that Britt had a more nuanced performance overall. So I'm not surprised, but I am a little disappointed. But I get it, okay? So let's talk about the other ones. Okay. So Hannah Tell in Life is Strange Double Exposure. Okay, so I have Life is Strange Double Exposure, and I've been sitting on it. I've been sitting on the fact that I completed it. I have very strong feelings about the way that game ended. And I haven't been able to really put that to power, and I'm trying to give it some space a little bit. I do, however, think that Hannah Tell did a unbelievably good job. She's flawless. Flawless. Okay? So, you know, she deserves to be there. I played about 5 hours of Star Wars Outlaws, and I would be astonished if there weren't better choices, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I feel like maybe, I don't know. I think Angela's VA from Silent Hill 2 did a fantastic job. She was probably the best character to me in Silent Hill 2. Okay, Luke Roberts, Silent Hill 2. I'll tell you that he's probably going to win. People really liked his performance as James. I didn't hate it, but I do think that I don't think that the performance was actually that sophisticated, and I think that a lot of people are like projecting their own interpretations of other elements of storytelling onto a pretty flat by design performance. And I think James's performance in Silent Hill 2 is flat by design, and I'm not saying that it doesn't take talent to behave flatly in that precise way. It does. I just felt a little not underwhelmed, but I don't think he deserves the best performance of the year. A nomination, sure, but he's probably going to win. Okay. And then Melina Juergens in Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I actually found her performance this time a little bit overdoing it. She was a little overdoing it. So, I don't know. So who do I vote for here? It's a tough one. But I still think of all the people nominated, Brianna White still wins. You know? But just in the interest of being honest with you guys, you know, I said what I said. Innovation and accessibility. I feel like this isn't always my best because I don't always track what people have done for innovation. But I did have somebody tell me that somebody that I trust that's in the innovation community give me guidance on this one, and vote for Erd Tree. So on this one, I'm going for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and it's because somebody who I trust in the community says that this does some stuff that makes this kind of game accessible for a variety of people that would not have access to it, like of different impairments, like visual, audio, all sorts of impairments. And so I am giving it to Prince of Persia for that reason. So it's me trusting somebody that I think has a better sense of things. Games for impact. Okay. So I haven't played all of these games, but I've played most of them. And I have some issues with a lot of them. So, okay. One, I hate to say that this is crazy, but I think Metaphor belongs on this list. Yeah, we don't think... I think Elden Ring DLC being nominated is a huge misstep. I think people hate it so much it may impact voting. So, hopefully. But in terms of games for impact... Okay, so... Closer the Distance, Indica, Neva, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzera. Okay, so between all of these, I'll be honest, I haven't played Closer the Distance, and I'm aware of Neva, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Okay, YouTube's better than Twitch. I have a lot of people liking it more, you know. For Rebirth highlighting mental disturbances, yeah, I don't know if... Okay, I actually agree that it didn't quite go as hard into messaging and impact as I hope it does in part 3. Okay, Life is Strange Double Exposure fumbles its messaging so hard that I can't vote for it. I like that there's representation in Life is Strange, but there's always going to be representation in Life is Strange, and I think that's good. I think... do not confuse me with a DEI woke, anti-woke grifter. I love woke. I love diversity. I think companies like Sweet Baby Inc. should exist. They should exist, and it's fine. Okay? If that opinion is upsetting enough for you to leave, leave. Okay? So that said, Indica was an odd little bit for me, and I understand its impact. Okay? I know that this is just kind of heavy on themes of grief and stuff like this. This talks about outcast society in this way that's really, really interesting. Don't get me wrong. However, where I'm gonna give this award to is Tales of Kenzera Zao. Because this is not a good video game. It's not a good platformer. It's worth your time though, because the lore behind the game, it's a love letter to Abubakar Salim's father and culture, And the way that it does so is really interesting and unique and just dripping with love. It's the kind of art creations I really want to see regarding like cultural expression in game. It's pretty flawless culturally. Okay. And I know a lot of anti-woke grifters, again, like attacked this game. But the mastermind behind it, Abubakar Salim, I really strongly recommend you check his stuff out. He's in House of the Dragon. He was Father in Raised by Wolves, which is the best canceled series ever made. And an absolute travesty that we didn't get a third season of that. He was in Assassin's Creed. He was the star of Odyssey. That's where most of you would probably recognize him. But he's a gem in the industry. He has a podcast with Ben Starr and some other people. It's a mediocre platformer, okay? But in terms of like every single design choice is made as a way to express culture and express grief, and it tackles grief in a really interesting way. A lot of people might pick Hellblade 2, but I think those people like don't recognize how grievously this undid some of its pro mental health messaging that was given by part 1. Part 2 so lazily intertwines trauma with other unrelated mental health issues that it sort of detaches some of the significance of that trauma. Like it almost it muddles them, you know. And so I have a lot of like PhDs in psychology in my house and in my life, and those people, I think, I asked one in particular questions about these two things, and I think I don't want to spend too much time shitting on a game, so we'll just move on. But my vote is for Kenzera. Okay. Okay. Hey, John Reeves. Hope you're doing... yeah. Hey, welcome in, buddy. I'm just going over my own votes before I start playing video games, but welcome in, and I love your vibe. I know you're probably happy that politics are over, and that's good. You can focus on where you thrive. But follow John Reeves. Dude is my favorite music reactor by far. He actually got me into loving music reaction overall. He also just has a general good vibe, and he's a Final Fantasy fan. I love his shit a lot. Okay, best ongoing game. Okay, tell you what belongs in this category. Fucking Elden Ring. And I would vote for it. But instead it's this. Okay? And, like, okay. So, what am I going to vote for best ongoing? Okay, Final Fantasy XIV had Dawn Trail this year. Okay, Dawn Trail wasn't for everybody. I think there were a lot of issues with Dawn Trail. However, it also a lot of updates happened to Final Fantasy XIV. Okay? Yeah, like how Phantom Liberty won this fucking category. Okay? So 14 has really good has had really good updates overall. Dawn Trail had its faults. Like glaring faults. Okay? That's fine. I still think overall this got the best updates. I would not be surprised if Diablo 4 won this category for Diablo 4 reasons. Okay? Helldivers 2, I kind of want to give this to, because I kind of feel like Helldivers 2 was snubbed for Game of the Year. I still think it deserved the nom more than fucking Wukong or goddamn Shadow of the Erdtree. I think there are two games that probably were better that should have been on there, but still, you know, so Final Fantasy XIV, I think probably deserves the vote for its ongoing content. Okay, I want Helldivers 2 to win something, but Helldivers 2's ongoing content isn't really what makes it good. Okay? So I'm going to say Final Fantasy XIV. And I just don't believe in voting for Fortnite anymore. Or Destiny. Best community support. Baldur's Gate 3. Easy. Okay. Not even talking about it. Best independent game. Okay. Balatro is probably the best game on here. I haven't played it enough to know that for positive, but it's really fun. It's so well designed. However, I'm giving this to Animal Well. Because I think Big Mode deserves it. Shared Memory deserves it. I think what they did, what is more impressive overall. And that's one guy pulled like a Toby Fox level, really interesting platformer. With really interesting puzzles, an absolute minimalist style of solution giving and exposition. It's just so fucking interesting what this game does. It's too interesting for me to not feel like this is the spirit of independent gaming. This is the spirit of indie studios, is to make things that really come from out of fucking nowhere and influence the AAA games of tomorrow. And I think Animal Well excels in that. Okay. Best debut indie game. So again, this is like from a new independent studio, came out of nowhere. Who did it best? Animal Well again. Okay. Best mobile game. Okay, so as you can tell, Ever Crisis isn't on there this year, sadly. Everybody's playing this right now, the new Pokemon TCG GP. And people love it. Like insane, people love it. But I'm giving this to Balatro. Not going to talk about it. Okay. Best VR or AR? Okay. So I don't really do VR. So why am I voting for Asgard's Wrath 2? It's because my friend is in it. Sometimes that's all it takes, you know? Okay. This is 10% of the vote anyways. Nothing matters. This was just like the other election. Okay. Best action game. So, what is my vote between? Okay. Black Myth Wukong is a good action game. We don't talk about Call of Duty. Helldivers 2 is a good action game. It feels like action isn't quite the right genre for it, but I get it. Space Marine 2, surprisingly good action game. Stellar Blade clears all of these in terms of action. Its actual action is the best. So, very easy, Stellar Blade for me. I suspect that Wukong might win this category. It'll certainly win the 10% of user votes. Like it will everywhere else. Okay. Best action/adventure game. Okay, so for me, this is between Astrobot and Silent Hill 2. Any idea why Ever Crisis wasn't on there? I think it had. It had the disadvantage of being a way worse game than all the other ones nominated. Sadly, it is. Look, Ever Crisis is fine. It's got really cool story. I get super excited. I get excited every time there's a new chapter. I love, as a Final Fantasy fan, all of the circle jerking it does with giving Cloud new outfits. That's fine. I know who that game is for. It's for me and people that love the lore. Those other games are way better designed games that do more for like pushing the medium forward. Ever Crisis is a gacha game made by the gachaist company doing gacha shit. I am a dirty gacha slut sometimes and gobble it down like the little gacha slut I am, like the little FF7 slut I am. That doesn't mean it's good. Okay? So that's why it didn't get nominated. I'm sorry. Okay. Best action adventure game. Okay. So to me, it's weird because like best horror game is Silent Hill 2, or in my opinion, the Alan Wake 2 DLC. But Silent Hill 2 shocked all of us by being not terrible, and it gets a ton of points for being way less terrible than we could have ever imagined a Bloober game being. Okay. In terms of action adventure, though, my two top games were Prince of Persia: Lost Crown and Astrobot. Okay. And Astrobot is just the best platformer that's been made since Mario 64. I think it's better than Galaxy. Don't get mad at me, all of Nintendo and every Italian person. Okay, listen. That's just how I feel. Okay. Ooh, this is a heavy category. Okay. Look, again, with the fucking Elden Ring here. Like, yes, it's technically a JRPG. Yes. But this just feels like fucking bullshit, man. Like, it shouldn't even be here. It shouldn't even be here, let alone... Like, just it being in this category feels like fuck you to me. Like, fuck, man. God. Okay. So is there something that should be here instead? Yeah, man. Yeah. I do think there's better... Okay. Here are the RPGs that I think belong in this category more than Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree that are not. Visions of Mana. Okay? And Visions of Mana wasn't amazing, but it's an RPG and it belongs in this category. P3R. Okay? I think is better suited for this category. Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. Okay? Definitely belong in this category. I think they were a little too late to make it in. Barely, like past the cutoff. Okay? But most of all, Unicorn fucking Overlord, dude. And that gets nominated later. But it's an RPG. And its ass belongs in here. Anyways, in terms of what's a better RPG gaming experience. So again, I gave narrative to metaphor. But in terms of video game stuff, like, I just think Rebirth is a more ambitious video game, and that includes its RPG stuff. Okay, so I'm giving it to Rebirth. Dragon's Dogma 2 ended up being a little weirdly mid, but I actually think that in terms of like RPG elements, I kind of think Dragon's Dogma 2 is number 2 for me for RPG things. Okay, so Rebirth. Rebirth is where I vote. Okay, best fighting game. Rebirth. No. Okay. So, all right. Tekken 8 would have been my easy win like 3 months ago. But man, if you're involved in the Tekken 8 community at all, you know, like, people fucking hate that shit right now. People are so mad at that game. I do like the fact that fucking the Capcom arcade classics came back. Like, it's just cool that exists. Grand Blue Fantasy was weirdly fun for like 30 minutes. And it was like, yeah, this is huge. And then I just let that game fall off of a cliff. Okay. Okay. Sparkling is my easy number 2. It's almost my 1. It's almost my 1. Okay. It is still sparkling. It's still sparkling, right? It is shallow combat. It is not but it's weirdly hard. Okay, here's what I love about Sparkling Zero. They made that shit so hard. And I love them for that. They made the single player so hard that a bunch of people got gated on Monkey Vegeta, and I fucking love that. I don't have any attachment to Multiversus anymore, and I feel like that company's... I feel like it's got another year tops. Sorry, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they get Goku in there. Okay, so despite all the hate, okay, so if I'm going to be like, as a fighting game guy, I love fighting games. I don't stream them. I don't make content on them. It is too hard, and it's like really hard for me to be a good person while I'm playing fighting games. And I'm just afraid that I'm going to be the worst version of myself. Okay? So, if I'm just going to rank my overall enjoyment with fighting games this year, Tekken 8 wins. But like, if I were to choose a fighting game to play right fucking now, I would play Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. So it is weird that MVCI is here. Okay, let me explain why it's here. It's because it has been landlocked behind a bunch of fucking weird rights and licensing problems. And it's been so hard, and fans have wanted a way to play that game currently for like 20 years. It's been like a personal mission of Max Dude to find a way to get this game playing. There's a lot of people that are in that category. Okay? It's fine now. But that said, I'm not going to pick up this game and like choose to play it right now. I'm glad that I can go back to that period of my life where it was like my favorite thing to do and do it. But yeah, I think Seal could beat Monkey Vegeta, and that's why I didn't pick it. Oh no, I could beat it, and I felt really bad for everybody that couldn't beat it. I mean, honestly, Robert M., I was a little confused that people couldn't beat it. Couldn't beat Monkey Vegeta in 2 to 3 times. I don't know what they were gated behind. But yeah, I love the Budokai games. Yeah, it's fun. So I'm voting for Tekken 8. Best family game. Astrobot. Easy. Next category. Best sim or strategy. Okay, so it's weird that these categories are together. I don't like it necessarily. But I'm aware of what Manor Lords is, Frostpunk, and Age of Mythology. They're not my giddy up get down. And so for me, what's winning is the kind of games that I like, just based on being good. That said, the games that I choose are really interesting and unique. So Frostpunk 2 has a really solid following, a unique aesthetic, and it exists in this unique space. Don't get me wrong. But the 2 finalists here are Unicorn Overlord and Path of the Goddess. And I got to play Path of the Goddess a little bit at Summer Games Fest. Didn't get it at all. I didn't get it, but the final game I sort of get. And I think it does really interesting things. It's a unique gameplay concept, really solid imagery, but holy shit, is Unicorn Overlord a better game. It is like it's such a good game. Fucking dripping with soul. I love the shit out of Unicorn Overlord. Easy vote. Easy vote. Okay. Next category. Best sports or racing. You got the wrong guy, dude. I feel bad voting for this. So I'm going to let you guys vote for it. Okay, you guys are my vote for this. Okay, so within the next 3 minutes, whoever has the most, you have to type it out. I'm not doing polls. Whoever has the most is going to win. Okay, so everybody participate on both chats. Okay, you guys got this. Okay, I'm going to run 1 minute ad break on both. I believe in you guys. I believe in a thing called love. Hi, everybody else. Okay, we got 1 vote for WWE. And thank you for the 100 plus people that are watching this. Abstain? I'm not abstaining. Somebody wins this. Let your souls decide. Top spin is pretty fun. Might as well use a random numerator No, not gonna do that. I like this more. This is working fine. Okay, so far, we have 1 vote for every game except for Football Club 25. Okay, now we have 2 votes for WWE. Okay, we got two votes for NBA now. Oh, this is close. Okay, 3 votes for NBA. Oh no, sorry, 2 votes. WWE is really, it just came ahead with 3 from Robert M. Oh God. I will do a January 6th if NBA doesn't win this. Holy shit, useless hoarding. Oh my God. Okay, it's 3-3. It's 3-3 NBA versus WWE right now. But holy shit, I feel like the passion from useless hoarding might be 2 votes. What the fuck, dude? I kind of feel like we have to do NBA 2K. Okay, we got 60 seconds left before... Okay, Wolfclaw with NBA. Okay. As soon as the clock goes to 12:30 my time, we're voting. Bro, if you had a pick in mind, you should have done that. You feel like removing your NBA vote? It's not too late. Okay, 12:30. NBA did win because useless hoarding was gonna do an insurrection. All right. Okay. Good choice, everyone. Whatever. Okay, best multiplayer. Okay. This is Helldivers 2 for me. And I had fun playing Tekken 8 with friends. I did. However, most of the fun I had in Tekken 8 is just playing against random strangers on the internet. It's a little different. Helldivers 2, you do it with your friends, and it's so fun. It's so fun. So, Helldivers 2. Easy. Okay. Best adaptation. Oof. Okay. So, let's talk about Knuckles. So somehow I've watched all these. Knuckles was a cringe apocalypse, and I felt bad for Idris Elba. Like a Dragon Yakuza was so disrespectful to its source material that it wasn't even a good Yakuza drama. There was a better Yakuza show on television, and it was canceled. It was called Tokyo Vice. That was better this year. Okay, so this is terrible. Okay, what is the problem with Tekken 8 now? I don't really like. They made a bunch of balance changes that are bad. The community's toxic. There's Harada's been weird about stuff. Okay, Tomb Raider, Legend of Lara Croft was better than people gave it credit for. It is still not even in the fucking ballpark of these two. Fallout would have been my easy win were it not for Arcane's episode 6. So Arcane season 2, really good, and it's getting there, right? Okay, so right now though, I'm still giving this to Fallout. I did not expect Fallout to be so fucking good. Ella Purnell kills it. I first got introduced to Ella Purnell from another really good television show called Yellow Jackets. And she kills this. She kills this show. This show is so fun. It made me want to play the Fallout games and then remembered that, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So I do think Fallout wins barely right now. But Arcane is good. Okay, here Fallout has an edge for me naturally because I like the Fallout games and I'm familiar with the Fallout universe. Fallout made me want to play old Fallout games, okay? Arcane is connected. Arcane does something more impressive in that it makes me like a thing that's connected to a thing I don't like, which is League of Legends. But I didn't enjoy it as much, so I voted for this. Okay. Most anticipated game. Okay. So, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Grand Theft Auto 6 are games I'm very, very, very much anticipated. I personally don't give a shit about Metroid Prime 4. People love Metroid Prime. Most of the people I know really loved it. Don't give a shit about it. Not at all interested. Monster Hunter Wilds is really, really on my list though. So, there are 4 really hard choices. Okay. But if I'm being honest, like, if I'm going to rank these 1 to 4, I'm going to go number 1, Grand Theft Auto 6. I just can't. I can't not. I'm just so excited to see what weird shit they did. Like, RDR2 was so fucking good. And, like, I still go back and, like, God, that game's so good. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still good. Like, the story of Grand Theft Auto 5 is fucking good. And it contributed to my music taste for so long. I still, like, I have a Spotify, not Spotify, but, like, a YouTube playlist. And, the fucking, if Midnight City comes on, I want to jam down the coast. I want to go to LA immediately. You know, like, Rockstar is at the top for a reason, dude. Like, the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer is the most watched YouTube video for a reason. You know, like, it's a phenomenon. And I want to see what weird shit they're going to pull in the dystopian apocalypse of, like, post-Trump to Florida. I want to see what commentary they're going to be pulling out. I can't wait. All right? And then Death Stranding 2 is number 2 for me. Because I love me some Kojima. Death Stranding 1, like, it does some shit in mid to end game, if you know, you know, that gives you an existential love for the rest of humanity temporarily. And it just does things that are too... I mean, it's Kojima, right? Before the beta, I would have said Ghost of Yotei. was my number 3 because I'm excited to see what happens. After the Monster Hunter beta, Monster Hunter Wilds is number 3. But easy GTA 6, which will win the category and the votes. Okay, Content Creator of the Year. Okay. So I'm a content creator, and I've had to look up 2 of these. And that's just kind of how it goes with content creators. I can't write in the Night Sky Prince or Prof Noctis. You know, this year. Prof Noctis is probably the freshest content this year. Night Sky Prince has been doing some rebranding, which I think is so cool. And I can't vote for myself, you know? So of the people that I know, I'm gonna go with Techo Gamers. Okay, I just like his vibe a lot more. Queso would be number 2, but and he's certainly more funny. But there's yeah. That's true. Prof Noctis does need to get good. But like he does shit that I like doing the squat challenge or the sit-up challenge with Tifa. He does shit like that that's like is so genius and just passed off and nobody even sees it. That dude needs to be a star. Prof Noctis for sure. I love that guy. Okay. And then Blitz, dude. Where's Blitz? Blitz has had explosive growth. He's been doing crazy shit. That's fine. Okay. I was surprised at how apolitical. I'm actually not surprised. I'm disappointed at how apolitical those fucking streamers were. Anyways, best esports gear. The only one I've ever really enjoyed at all is Valorant, which is weird. I'm not a shooter guy, but I have had some fun playing Valorant. So I'm going to just keep going with that. Best esports athlete. I'm going with Faker. Easy. I know Chovy and I know 33, but definitely going Faker. Okay. Best esports team. We're gonna do okay. We're doing Team Liquid. Because I know one guy on Team Liquid. Okay. Okay, so you get 2 more rounds to vote for player's choice, okay? 30 nominees vote for 10. 10 nominees vote for 5. 5 nominees vote for 1. So this is the Player's Choice Award. So those start December 2nd. It's a weird way of doing it. It's new. That's interesting. I'll say notify me. Okay, we did it, guys. We did do it. So let's here, we'll just move to this for a second. What do you guys think? Okay, let's get everybody's thoughts really quick. What are we feeling about Game of the Year? So here's the last thing I'll talk about, actually. Who do I think's gonna win each of these categories? Okay. So let's talk about that. Actually, yeah, let's talk about that. And then I'll get to the video game. And everybody will leave. Which is fine. People are allowed to like what they like. Talking about video games is sometimes more interesting. Play some Tekken. I kind of want to. Okay. So let's get back to here. So let's view all the categories. So what wins Game of the Year? Okay. I do think that the fucking negativity surrounding Erdtree getting nominated and like the outrage videos, all that stuff will be enough to sway the voting. So I don't think it will win. And people are going to be crazy about this, but so something that I learned literally right before going live is that even though the FAQ didn't change, way more people are voting this time from way more places. Okay? And so and people that are like not even necessarily like full journos or full journalists. So I feel like the real voice, the real choice between Game of the Year this year is going to be between Rebirth and Astrobot. And gun to my head, I think Astrobot takes it. Okay? However, I think what we might see is something like last year, where Game of the Year goes to Astrobot, but game direction will go to Rebirth. Best narrative, I legitimately think is between Fantasio and Rebirth for who votes for what. And I actually think that Metaphor will win this category. I just feel like most people that are voting have probably played ReFantasio and probably feel this way. I feel like these other ones were like there because there hasn't been a lot of story-driven games. Best art direction, I think will go to Astrobot. Okay. Regardless of where I voted. Best score in music, I do think Rebirth has this one in the bag. I think this is guaranteed. Best audio design. I think Silent Hill 2 has this in the bag too. If anybody's going to upset it, it's going to be Hellblade. Best performance, Luke Roberts will win this. Innovation and accessibility. I think Veilguard might actually win this, but in my own, based on my own, like the people that I trust that I think are really forward thinking in this, I'm, obviously giving it the Lost Crown. Messaging, I have a feeling that that the actual winner of this will be Indica. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. Best ongoing, I think Diablo 4 will actually win. Best community support, I think that Baldur's Gate, Larian will win again. Best independent game, I think Balatro will probably win. A game that belongs on here that wasn't here is Fear the Spotlight by Bloomhouse Games. Absolutely criminal that it wasn't here. Lorelei and Laser Eyes is really good too, by the way. R.I.P. Annapurna. Fuck. Best debut indie game. I also think that the Balatro still clears this category. Best mobile game. I think Balatro will win this. Best VR AR. I think probably the like the most buzz that I've seen has gone around the Metro Awakening, so I think that'll probably win. But there's a chance that the Oculus Arkham wins. Best action game. I feel like I feel like Wukong takes this one away, despite it. I don't know why, I just feel that in my gut. Which do I think wins? Yeah, I think Astrobot wins this one. Best RPG. Again, this is really between these two games, and I really believe that Rebirth is going to take this one. Best fighting game. I think Tekken 8 still will win. Best family, Astrobot will win. Best strategy, I think there's a chance that Manor Lords might actually win this, but Unicorn Overlord 1,000,000% deserves it. I don't care about this. Okay, best multiplayer. You know, this is one of those ones where fucking I kind of think Helldivers will win this. Best adaptation. I think Arcane might run away with this, but Fallout deserves it. Most anticipated game. Yeah, fucking Grand Theft Auto 6. It's the easiest one. Don't care about this one. Don't care. And don't care. Alright. Also don't care. So that's who I think will actually win. Fansense Remake came out. Haven't seen much Rebirth content from you lately. I came out with a short and super long in-depth theory video. Would love if you checked it out. Feel free to DM that to me. If you want to check me, best place to actually get at me now is Blue Sky. I go to Twitter to occasionally glaze Rebirth and complain about stuff, but I literally am there for the moment that I post it and to check replies. The moment I start scrolling, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's why I'm not here anymore. This place fucking sucks. So I'm mostly on Blue Sky. All right. So you can check that out. Oh, I got to go on Twitch here. I got to set up my YouTube commands here. Sorry. So here is my Blue Sky link to YouTube. Sorry, ours is sick. Bless me. Okay, let me come over here. Okay. All right. Oops. Okay, actually, let's... Okay, so let's silence the music. You know, I've been kind of just talking. So it's nice that it doesn't have an algorithm with a political agenda. Okay, and look, the algorithm needs work on Blue Sky, but you'll notice that it's more pleasant because it's the algorithm. Here's why it feels like the algorithm's better. Just people have all collectively agreed to be better than to each other. You're still not going to see like a ton of... It's not going to recommend the most precise stuff that you like in the same way that like Twitter's algorithm is really effective. Like it could tell you exactly what you like to see. It knows that there's less benefit in that, you know? Yeah, there is a link actually. Let me, on Twitch, I have it as, again, I don't have bot commands for YouTube yet, but I will get that. So let me do that. Yeah, the block lists are also great. and just the user, and also the creator packs, like the user packs are fucking great. You know, like they just are. They're so good. You know. So check that out when you can. Okay, so we'll go back to nonsense chat here. Now, okay. So, word of warning is that the audio seems to desync itself. And I haven't figured out why it does that yet. It happens over time, and normally ours, my trusty godsend moderator, is really quick about letting me know, because there's a simple way that I can fix it. He, however, is in bed sick. Have you missed the entire stream? D. Billick. Okay. 1. No. I'm just getting started on playing video games. However, I did talk for like, let's see, how long? 2 hours about the Game Awards. And I did all my voting, talked about what I voted for, who I think's gonna win, the absolute buffoonery that is allowing Elden Ring into the category, despite that being one of my favorite game experiences of the year, and talked about everything. But on YouTube, you can just go back and watch and get caught up if you'd like. You can even comment on the chat here. Yeah, Diabilic. Princess Di. Wait, isn't there 2 eyes on your Twitch one? Oh, you're Chocobilic. Okay, that's right. Is it short for Diane? Okay. It is. I got it. Old Man Sakaki, welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for everything that you do for the community. And many other things, including several gifts. You're the best. You know? Anyways, listen. Diabilic. Diabilic. You can scroll back and watch stuff, and you can even live comment on the chat to stuff from 2 hours ago if you want, just to confuse everybody else. You are such a great member of my community that I will not only allow that, I'll shame anybody that acts confused towards you for it, if you want to do that. But to answer your question, no, you didn't miss all the stream, but you missed most people's favorite part of the stream, which is the part where I talk and not play video games. Although more people have been tuning into my video game breakdowns now, because this is... People are like, what the fuck, right? You know? What the fuck is going on with these Game Awards? These goddamn Game Awards. My biggest complaints with the Game Awards were, 1... Erdtree doesn't belong in Game of the Year. It just doesn't. Like, Phantom Liberty was better than most of the games last year, and it wasn't allowed. And Idris Elba was in that. Yeah, I'm like, it feels like a slap in the face, you know, to kind of change that for this. 2, the other thing is Wukong. I'm sorry, it feels like pandering. And it would be like if Hogleg got nominated just because of one outrage and two sales. You know, like, it feels wrong that that game, which deserved its Metacritic score, you know, took away any awards. And of the two, like, this is a new studio doing new stuff out of Asia games that came out. The fact that it got it over Stellar Blade, which I think is a far better IP, you know. Hogleg is Hogwarts Legacy, yeah. That's what I call it. OMS. So where are we in this video game? In the PS5 Pro edition of this video game. I'll tell you where. We just got back to Nibelheim. Alright? And this chapter is not my favorite for a variety of reasons. But it has some of the best moments in it. Where it just also has like some of the worst, and there's some things about it. We just got done with the town of Nibelheim, and we did all the stuff in here, and we noticed that there's like several girl clones with bangs. That's cool. So this lady right here. And we talked about all the, you know, like the new identity of Nibelheim as like this refuge, and how as much as that takes away some of the really creepy, like you're being gaslit by a game feeling that the original had, I recognize that can never be reproduced. And so what they instead did is like they allowed this to kind of, they allowed the plot device of being a reunion clone rehab be there to, one, flush out other narrative choices that never really had good justification, like the party sticking with Cloud, or, you know, this idea of you know, forgiving people and treating sick people with grace instead of you know, shunning them. You know, that messaging is really reinforced by that decision here. So I get why they did that. If still, it's hard not to feel like that's a little bit of a disappointment, but I could easily forgive that and think that overall it was the right choice. There are other elements of this chapter which we're not yet to that are like, what the actual fuck? And but right now we've just done all of our introductions. We're back. We've seen how weird Nibelheim is. We've seen it's now like been rebuilt. The town even acknowledges that we rebuilt it, and like, hey, if you're here from before the Reckoning, just don't talk about it. Like, people from the town are like, yeah, we know. So they're not like hard into the delusion, right? And so that's a little bit more plausible. But it does mark a change. So what then are we doing here? What's going on? Well, one, we needed, for some reason, Kate Sith needed a special terminal to get more information about the Keystone. And so that's a way that drives the plot forward. I don't think it was necessary. Following reunion clones is enough. Like, you know, we heard there's a big influx of reunion clones in Nibelheim. We should go check that out. That's all you needed to say, hey, let's go to fucking Nibelheim. You didn't need this weird shit with a terminal and special stuff. But we are getting some Wu Tai lore now. So we hear right before we go on the segment that the mayor or advisor or somebody, supervisor of the town, isn't back yet. And then we hear that a party of staffers was intercepted by Wu Tai here in Nibelheim. Heidegger tells Rufus that. So we now know that we're heading into weird Wutai stuff. And for some reason, Yuffie really wants to go. And that was a little contrived, like, oh, I really want to go on this thing. And then we know internally that she's going to be our, like, Wutai representative. So let's go, okay? We can't go to the manor yet, but let's go look at it. Okay. So where can we go? So let's go to the new bridge. There's a newly constructed bridge that should get us... Okay. Also, have I mentioned this game looks really, really good? There's a very slight echo, but barely, like 5 to 10%, just FYI. Oh. Interesting. Is the echo in the game? Or is it me? Here, just in case, what we'll do... We'll do what I usually do in this situation, which is... Oh, just my mic. Oh, that's fine. I think there's actually just echo in the room. My blue sky is just Schrodinger's BBSEAL. I think I have my link up here. Oh, did it cut out the link? Die, you hear nothing? Yeah, Schrodinger's BBSEAL. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, so there's a Glenn brought... So yeah, what we're going to talk about right now is probably Wutai. So Wutai, obviously, is now like... Was like just a dying nation with no resistance. And you went there as like a optional side quest for Yuffie. And it was just like you were getting to look at the tattered remains of a busted up society. Now there's all sorts of crazy shit happening there. There's the Shinra Resistance Company. It's now probably a mandatory portion of Part 3. So a lot is going on with Wutai now. Give me the keys. ME and Tempe just checked on your votes on the VOD. Great picks. Really hoping for a FF7R sweep myself. I don't think anything's sweeping this year. But you know, if there is, and then it's probably going to be an Astrobot sweep. It feels like kind of a tense year. Okay, so this is another thing. So now, so this is straight up divergent from the OG. Okay, it is unabashedly different. He is now remembering that Zack exists, and he is remembering Zack in a position here. In Cloud's mind, what's happening?
He's in Fate's hands now.
What is it?
I remember what happened here.
I like it a lot. So he remembers Zach, and right now he actively has his memories warped to put Zach in the wrong point of view. Zach is inhabiting the wrong person in this scenario. So it's like his mind is coming together wrong. And this is so we're seeing in real time the way that memories can be formed. And it's why people can sometimes remember things wrong in real life and pass lie detector tests. You know, you hear people that have remember shit dead ass wrong, pass lie detector tests about what they experienced. And they do so because they're honestly saying what they remember, you know. And so they're introducing this really like kind of coherent like language to the glitching that's happening below Cloud's surface. And I think that helps because they're really trying to sell something in terms of like an identity struggle in part 3 that won't come off well in modern storytelling with this much exposition. You know, like it really needs to have the framework super fleshed out in order for it to land.
Oh.
But even more
Bridge
interesting
broke. He fell, got swept away by the current.
for
I
me
think he's...
than Cloud's recollection of this is Tifa's
You never
response.
forgot, did you? That's why you've been acting weird.
Didn't want to upset you.
Didn't want to upset you, that's all. Is this a lie? No, but I doubt it's the full truth, right? Because check this out.
That's all.
Zach was my friend. How could I just forget him like that?
He's remembering that he's his friend, too.
Degradation.
And then he starts to hit despair, right? He hits this despair. Oh, it must be because of what happens to soldiers. So this is one of those Cody moments, too, that's got me like scratching my head a little bit about why he's not best performer.
It's hollowing me out, bit by bit.
Hollowing me out bit by bit, right? So a call to hollow thematically is fucking awesome, right? Sounds like digital echo, huh? Well, let me try adding, and I wonder if only YouTube's feeling it. Okay, let's try this. Let me change microphone sources really quick. Okay, you shouldn't be able to hear me, or I'm very quiet. Okay, how do I sound now? Whoa. I think this has to do with it somehow. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's so weird. Okay. My capture card. All right. Here. Okay. So I've got to do this a little bit. Man, that's crazy. I'm sure I lost the. I would imagine I lost the echo. right? Okay, let's try this.
You're wrong.
Okay, but then the delay is there. Okay. Amazing. This does seem to be an issue with dual streaming. I don't know why.
You remembered, Cloud. It'll be okay. It will. I know it.
Thanks.
Okay, so she comforts him here, and I think it's really interesting the way that she comforts him. She doesn't break his dissonance too hard, right? And somebody in a fragile state, that is the wrong thing to do. By the way, any like experienced psychologist will tell you that there's a way to challenge delusion, and that there are times when it's clinically important to be sensitive in doing so. So Tifa's acting like, actually, I think in a way that's the most appropriate for Cloud's current condition. But she's also acting in a way that makes me feel like not only does she have more context for the situation, I think the reason that she does is because Aerith does. I think the reason that Aerith does has to do with the whispers. Okay. So I think we are still dealing with like characters that are getting sources of divine inspiration, inspiration that gives them more context than we had before. And I think this is a indicator of that. Okay.
You gotta
Here's
tell Aerith
one.
about this. She deserves to know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, she does. But let me be the one to do it.
Here it is. So Tifa says she doesn't want Cloud to explain what happened to Zack. She wants to do it because she probably has already explained to Aerith. Aerith probably already knows what Tifa knows. But Tifa's saying that what she's recognizing is that Cloud still doesn't have the narrative fully together. Okay? So don't, go yanking levers, pulling chains, and being crazy. Let Tifa do it.
Why?
And then he wants to know why.
Because she and I are close, you know?
And then she kind of tells a lie here.
Hey,
It's true, they are
you
close.
done yet?
Yep.
But I
You're
think
right there.
this is proof that Tifa and Aerith are kind of collaborating
Let's just
on
keep
the
this between the two of us.
best way to approach Cloud, right? So I think this is really sensitive, really well done.
Promise.
It's one of the more perfect choices, I think. Listening at kind of a low volume. She is straight up lying. I'm open to someone convincing me otherwise as someone with no psychology experience, but I probably would have freaked Cloud out if I was Tifa, though. Yeah, you got to be sensitive with delusions. I think it was a really nuanced choice overall. Then we get to go in this cavern again.
Back to the planet. Sloppy.
How are levels, by the way?
Please work.
Okay. We got another great scene coming up here.
I'm dying here.
Let's not waste any
No
time.
more games. It's over.
Also, all the regions have MG Gallagher names, which is great.
You're in good hands now. Abracadabra something or other. Got you right where I want you.
No time to celebrate.
Yeah, best not to push him further. Exactly, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, we're not to the bad part of this chapter yet. We're just not. So this is where we came from in the original time we got here. The prologue. This part's one of my favorites too, as starting to like build tension for the coming climax.
Amako Spring.
Wait, so this whole thing's materia?
It's such a great
It's so much
callback
bigger.
to the first chapter.
Naturally formed materia. And look at the size of it. Astounding.
He's never said astounding, you know, ever. And so all of us are hearing it like oh shit, he's doing Sephiroth's monologue. And you're waiting like, will Tifa remember? You know, and your first thought is like, oh, of course, you know, she will. Like, why doesn't she already? It's an old memory for her, but for us, you know, it's very fresh.
Amako energy to condense into something like this. It must have taken an eternity.
Hey,
And here we see her acting again. Like, she knows. She's got more context for what's happening to Cloud and its relationship to Sephiroth than before. And it could just be context clues, but I do feel like there is a missing piece of information that's being alluded to by all of the source material, and it involves that, you know, prescience, the Whispers time travel related prescience, you know, future sight. And is that technically time travel? I mean, information is traveling through time, so kind of, but you know, a lot of people are really defensive about that terminology. So just to try and describe it as what it is, it does feel like there's this element of future informed context that's seeping into multiple characters' understandings at this point, you know?
we should get out of here. All this Mako's making.
Right, because she didn't just freak out. She tried to interrupt it because she could tell that he was engaging in mimicry, right? He was literally channeling Sephiroth. Words he doesn't use.
Yeah, me too.
And you could tell it reset his psyche a little bit. Like, he didn't know how to respond to it. You know, and so it's also just reinforcing the idea that how he ultimately defeats, you know, the identity grasp that Sephiroth has on him is through fellowship. And in this specific point, Tifa. Tifa is still going to be that primary piece of his core identity, like the thing that grounds him to who he really is. Was that? Oh, I went the wrong way. Huh? I did that before. It's okay. I don't use mini maps because I think they're ugly, and so as a result, I get lost more. Tifa knowing that also reflects others' understanding of Cloud, regardless of his own understanding of being absent. Yeah, his voice, Cade. Yeah, so I'm not sure how long you've been watching, but I did say that I feel like, as much as I'm happy that some performances, that Rebirth got a performance nod, I do think that Cody and John Eric Bentley were robbed. I still think Brianna, of the people there, did the best of the people in the nominee category, but I think there were better performances this year. And if I'm being 100%, I think that Hannah Tell might have done a little better, like in terms of 0 misses, like no lines that Hannah Tell performed in Life is Strange were bad, but it was like less dialogue overall and just like less good dialogue, period. So I do think that Brianna was worthy of my vote.
You're gonna feel this.
That said, she's not gonna win.
The wrath of the ninja!
Yeah, John should have got it. For single best moment performed in a video game this year, John definitely wins it. Huge range, though. I think Cody doesn't just like do Cloud. He also does Zack really well in the intro, and he also does Sephiroth at some point, and he does real Cloud.
Once we get past this part, then
Come on. Let's find another route.
No need to worry. I've already found one. More climbing, but hey.
Yeah. You know what I also think largely contributed to the way Nibelheim plays on your second playthrough is something that the game designers probably like had drilled into their head, which is that repetition will kill the flow of the game. Having to do this again the same way, and so I think a lot of the design choices really were centered in like what I think is a good instinct, and that's, you know, to make this feel very distinct from the 2-hour intro sequence, because the timing of this is a lot
Not too shabby.
like going through it in the Nibelheim incident in the OG and then coming back to Nibelheim. We're still looking at like, you know, 2 hours of total gameplay between both of them. You know, not 4 total. You know, and so I'm sure that they felt from a design standpoint like this need to mix it up. But you gotta be really precious with what you interject. And we're not to the part where I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like, up to this point, I'm like, okay, I like this. Like, I like this part of the game. You have Cloud with you, and Yuffie's there. That's strange, but whatever, you know? Okay, let's do it. Let's see what happens.
No more games. It's over. Little.
Okay. I see that it already desynced audio-wise. It's so weird.
Too easy. Okay.
Gotcha. Just stay here. Don't overdo it.
Okay, let's go. Down. You're down.
Not one step at a time. You know, I can't say I've ever taken this route before. You gonna be okay, Yuffie?
Oh yeah, no problem. This is nothing compared to what we got in Wutai. Like that massive sculpture of Dachao carved into the face of this one cliff.
I love the Wu-Tai lore
All
here.
us ninjas have to scale it. Part of our training. Never liked the climb much, but I freaking loved the reward.
Which was?
Dachao beans, of course. Got to eat up when we made it to the top. Ah, tell you what, I'll give you some when we finish our climb.
That's kind, but
Are the nominated VAs always English speaking? Yeah.
really don't have to.
I like Yuffie's quest to scale it. I really do. And I like the side quests in this area. The side quests are really self-aware, too. There's particularly the cat one, because it's like people were. It's just clear that they were aware that people, made jokes about hurting cats in the OG or in remake, and they took that same concept and were like, we're not getting rid of it, but we're listening to you. Here's a way we make this awesome. And it ends up being one of the more awesome side quests. And I think that's really Hamaguchi just being very mindful of what people are saying to him and what works best, Oh yay, warding materia, how cool. I do like the dragon face, by the way. Monster design's really good. I feel like monster design is a underrated element of Rebirth. I think the monsters are really cool.
Bring it!
Back to the planet.
Yes.
All set. You're up. Here
Not
I
looking
go.
good.
All right.
Of all the time.
Still here.
Oops.
Just hang on. I'm coming.
Oh boy.
This can't be how it ends.
And you can die. Look at that. Is Yuffie physically fitter than Tifa? I mean, she's a better climber, which was wild. I mean, Yeah, I agree. Night Sky Prince. So on YouTube, Night Sky Prince is talking about like, well, of course the nominated VA should be English speaking. It'd be impossible for one set of judges to decide across languages unless they spoke all fluently. You can deeply appreciate acting in a language you don't know, but you can't fully judge it and critique it. I fully agree with that, and do not let like insufferable Texas weebs tell you otherwise. Oh yeah, Drumjud Forspoken does have good monster design.
Punch through.
Don't think you'll walk away from this.
I still think Forspoken got a really unfair treatment. Really unfair rap.
Okay. Let's do it. You're not getting away. Take the lead.
Okay, let's go. Heads up. It's on you. Aww, someone need a rest? All right.
My turn.
Never come. I
You're gonna feel this. Don't overdo it.
Let me hear you watch yourself. I'm your one-stop slaughtering shop.
Gotta be careful.
Have a word. Mine, punk. Yeah, let's go to town on 'em.
After you.
Let's finish. I see it. Here I go. How you like that?
Not bad.
All
Not the
right.
best.
Hey, Cloud. I've been thinking. We're looking for a guy named Murasaki, right?
What about him?
It's just, his name sounds Utayan.
Does it?
People immigrated to Midgard before the war. Some of their kids and grandkids probably work for Shimmer.
Oh. Huh. I had never thought about that before.
So another thing I find fun about the way that Cloud answers questions, where it's like he gets away for sounding like he's got a lot more like historical knowledge than he actually has, because very often he just says common sense things. Like he'll state a common sense conclusion as like a statement of knowledge, and so he comes across as having more wisdom. So he sort of mansplains his way into appearing older than his mind actually is, you know. I feel like she needs first strike more than... Well, she also builds it up though. Auto weapon ability. Does she have auto unique ability already? Let's do that over dark side this time. Bunch of different ways you can play this game though. Tell you what.
Gotta be a way to get down.
I love that they brought back the pipes. And remember, there were red dragons, or there were dragons, and you could steal that armor, just like the one we saw. Okay, that is actually one critique I have. Stealable items. Ended up never needing any. Wow. Okay. At least I can catch the desync now pretty quick. Can't wait for the PC release. Me neither. Mods will be great. Yeah, free camp playthrough. Oh, dude.
No more games!
It's on now. Enough. It's on you.
Okay, let's bring it home! If you insist.
Nothing to it.
Staff only. Oh look, they brought back the door from part 1.
I guess it's not that weird for people to move to different countries. And it's not like we don't welcome foreigners into Wutai either.
Okay, just checking.
I mean, take Colonel Lockrock.
Here we go.
The whole reason we have an interim government in the first place.
So they started an interim government, okay? So the interim government seems to be separate from Goto. So Goto probably resisted the idea of the interim government. And Glenn, along with Rufus, started it. But what we don't fully know is if Glenn is alive. He probably is dead, and the only Glenn we're seeing is probably Sephiroth, Glenoroth.
The team is made up of nothing but ex-soldiers. Bunch of badasses who decided to give Shinra the finger. Kinda like you.
Nothing like me.
Got so much in common, you'd be best buds. Just saying, it's never too late to join the cause.
So Matt, Lucia, and Glenn started the Wutai interim government.
So what do you say? Wanna join up? I'm dead serious, you know. I really think you'd like it in Wutai. Could bring the whole gang even. We'll start our own Spec Ops unit. The Yuffie Recon Patrol! Shinra will be afraid to even speak our name. They'll stand in awe of the fair ninja who leads her loyal minions, and tremble in fear when they see the wire peas coming in hot. People will be banging down the door to buy our film rights. Your stunned silence says more than words ever could. I knew you'd be on board.
Please shut up.
Yeah. Okay. So it is weird to see this segment in the light, and this is definitely, it's less pretty, you know, with daylight. And there is a lot of popping in this area, but, you know, it is what it is. And here we see straight up Wu-Tai soldiers. So it is absolutely Wu-Tai coming to Nibelheim of all places.
Which means we're at war? But what about my mission? Did Command call it off? Why didn't anyone tell me?
Aren't we in the middle of a ceasefire, though?
That's what they say. Still, doesn't mean we are. And it makes no difference to them either way. Come on. We gotta find Murasaki.
Right. This is it. There's no turning back.
Yeah, I like Sleepy's ideas that I heard him say once about Goto telling Sonnen to look after Yuffie outside of Wu-Tai because some sus stuff was going on. I agree. I think that's totally true. It is sus what's happening with
Why'd they do this?
No one told you anything?
with the interim
Nothing.
government.
I had no idea they were planning an operation. I should have been here. Should have done something for them.
You've done tons for us. Remember that.
Whatever.
Interesting dialogue there. You've done tons for us. Cloud trying to comfort her. It means purple in Japanese, Murasaki does. The lighting still isn't perfect. It's much better in HDR, but you can't capture in HDR, so I have to turn HDR off for streams. It's just sad. Do I think Genesis will have a part to play in part 3? Oh, absolutely.
Ready?
You asked for it. I got this. You're up. Here I go. Don't let me down.
Won't last long. Going all out.
So let's talk about the Diabolic variant, by the way. A man-made monstrosity created by Shinra's R&D division. It has since been disposed of for its disobedient cannibalic nature. But some specimens escaped the research festival and have undergone unique evolution in the wild. So, if you recall, this is an enemy that you fight in the simulator in Intergrade. But apparently some escaped, and this is what it looks like. And it's undergone evolution.
No more games. It's over.
You had your chance.
Here I go.
Keep it together.
Let me handle this.
Okay. Real quick.
We gotta find Murasaki.
Two spoon, please. Hi there. A little random, but I have a rebirth ending theory that I haven't seen anywhere else that, and I need to tell someone before my head. Can you run it here? Go for it. It's not Glenoroth, it's Sethin. Okay. So let's real quick run the let's look at the enemy intel. Diabolic variant. All right. So comparing the two, there are a few things. It does have that hoof coming out the back. That's reminiscent of Ifrit. But it has evolved a lot. And it does look like a mixture. Like it's gone even further into looking like the Machinoids, basically. Which I think is really cool. And the monster design on it is just awesome. I wish we had free cam right here, you know, because it's so cool and intricate and detailed. Yeah, and you can tell, like, just Genova fucking rot is coming up through here.
Oh my god.
That thing must have done this.
I doubt it. They were shot.
I doubt it, they were shot. Was it dying again? Okay, getting to return here. No music. I kind of wish there were music, but that's okay. And here we have this bit. Her remembering her father. And then this is great. So I like this. I think this is good. Be whatever you want about it, but this is a great shot. So she's hyperventilating and Cloud is giving almost blind comfort, right? I don't know how much he understands about why she's feeling the way she's feeling, you know? But he at least has some recollection enough to give it from Zach's perspective during the intro to the game. So
Tifa.
So she's able to calm herself, and you can tell it's not like she's ungrateful for Cloud's support, but it's a little bittersweet. You know, it's a little bit complicated because Tifa's got to know that it's based on recollection she doesn't have. right? She doesn't know where Cloud was during this period. She knows that it was Zack that saw this, but that Cloud somehow remembers it.
It's okay. I'm okay.
So she just pushes back with, it's okay, I'm okay. Because she's got to be strong on her own there. Because it feels disingenuous to take that support
Hey.
for her.
I think we found our guy.
We need to check the inside. There might still be survivors.
Yeah.
So it doesn't let you go back in here and travel to
I don't
this
see
section.
anyone.
Soon, Cloud. Soon.
Great scene.
You okay?
Yeah.
And there. Huh? Kate Sith?
Ah, Yuffie! And where might you be?
Back room off Mako storage. You?
Town Hall still. Thought I might be able to do something from here, so I tried accessing the reactor terminal. Anyway, did you find Murasaki?
Yeah, we did. He died in a skirmish with Wutai.
He... what? Then we don't have much time.
Okay. So before we get to this segment, let me read what so over on YouTube, two spoon PLS said, thank you, basically. So the Aerith in the CG ending scene, up until the point where the tiny Bronco takes off, is in a different spot on the grassy field than when she looks up and says goodbye. Maybe a continuity error, or the one that says goodbye is the real Aerith and the one talking to Cloud is Genova. My mind is that in my mind, I don't think that's Genova at all. I don't know if it's even necessarily a continuity error in that she's a Spectre and she does seemingly wander around the map often. Like she's all of a sudden close enough to Red 13 to touch her. I mean, it seems like a Spectre probably isn't as bound by spatial constraints for it to be considered a continuity error, and instead is sort of a spectral presence within Cloud's mind. I just don't necessarily see that. So do you think Sephiroth is preparing Cloud to block his sword with all the times he appeared in front of Cloud when Cloud never attacked him before Aerith's death in OG? I'm still not in that camp. I don't think that Sephiroth is really... I think Sephiroth is fundamentally outplayed here. I think Sephiroth has wanted Cloud to break, and still part of... I feel like that Aerith is ahead here, and that Sephiroth, while using future knowledge and stuff, isn't the one with like the Deus Ex in the combo. Does nobody think it's weird that the tiny Bronco was mysteriously repaired at the end? Yeah, I do think it's weird. I mean, I know that like they have better technology, like the Republic replicators can do crazy shit, but like I don't know, it does, like a whole wing seems like a lot. you think at the end of part 2 the villain would have the upper hand. I think at the end of part 2 you would think the villain has the upper hand, and you would think that the final the checkmate, you know, might still be like, you know, part of the sacrificial pawn plan, you know, in a story. Like, I do think you walk away from Rebirth feeling like, okay, we didn't really win that, you know, but the more you look, you're like, oh, but what ace does Aerith have up her sleeve? You know, oh, holding the, yeah, him having the black materia, which is really bad. The Sky Rift is bad. Yeah. Yeah, in terms of Cloud's mental stability, for sure. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, back to this. I think it's a little delayed, but we'll find out.
We have to reach the terminal in Shinra Manor before word gets out. You've got the key card, right?
Yeah.
Good. Then slot it into the console. I'll work my magic from here. Should have that gate open before you know it. Yes! Get in there, my son! I'll go ahead and look for the terminal. See you there.
Meet at the manor. Got it.
Cheerio!
See ya.
All right. And then here we get...
Let's go.
It's like good. This chapter's great. This chapter's great. And...
Well, you heard them.
Then there's
Time is
this.
of the essence. We need to find that terminal, ideally before they get back.
Yes, sir.
You stay behind and wait for them. Once they arrive, you can put that nose of yours to work. Follow our scent right to us. You gotta admit, you're the best one for the job.
I will concede you have a point.
Then let's get a move on.
Okay. I do like having a close camera behind Kate Sith. I think it's really cute the way he runs and walks around.
Like I told you before.
However, this is not the period of time I want to be hearing this music. Like, this is supposed to be the creepy...
Wow, you're doing great.
Let's take a little break and try again.
Some martial artist named Zangan came up with this exercise. That's what everyone tells me, at least.
I also wish he did the exercises.
All right, everybody, gather round.
I feel so bad for these.
All we do is...
And I don't think it lets you go far in the wrong direction, right?
Whoa!
Let's talk to Chadley, though.
Hello. I hope you're doing well. There may be no more intel to collect, but I hope we can still meet from time to time. My research is proceeding smoothly, thanks to the intel you collected. You have my
Man,
gratitude.
I wish you had weird shit to
Obtaining
say
all
to
that
me.
Intel has only stoked my desire to learn more. If I could visit other continents,
It's our job.
This is Nibelheim.
Ah.
There's no need to rush.
So yeah, this is not my favorite part of the game. I won't lie.
Careful out there.
It's a little rough.
Started coming down off the mountain.
We'll catch up with you at the manor later.
I mean, it just kills the tone of what's supposed to be the most, like, kind of creepy, legitimate horror area of the game. It doesn't let you play Queen's Blood here.
They pulled out all the stops decorating this place. Definitely seen better days, though.
Oh man, the paintings do look clearer. Oh, thank you. Thank you, PS4, PS5 Pro.
A few cracks between friends. It's almost 50 years old.
This can't just be a fancy house.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and agree with you there. The village is practically drowning in a... See,
I mean, I'm glad the music
after all.
changes.
So what if it is?
Well, it would add weight to the rumor that Hojo used to conduct experiments here.
Doubt it's just a rumor.
Where's my ray tracing? There is a light reflection there. I'll grant it that. There's virtually no lore of interest, which is a bummer. There is these cool paintings though, and you can see these in the first chapter too. But you know, this is presumably a young member of the Shinra family, possibly president. You know, I would assume this is President Shinra in his youth, pre-mustache. You got the angel there. But we can't explore the upstairs, which is a travesty. But there is this cool painting of Lucretia and Hojo up here. Free cam, we're gonna get a real good look at that, and the other creepy ass one right there. Although that just looks like a picture of Shinra Manor. And there's the angel statue as an example. So I'm going to play for about 20 more minutes, by the way, and then I'll call it, but then we'll finish the rest, including Vincenzo, tomorrow.
Kinda creepy.
Huh. This a kid's clubhouse?
Oh, I think it's a bit more dangerous than that. But nay bother, I'll protect you.
Hello and welcome to Shinra Manor.
Here we go.
Hojo.
I don't know what it is you hope to find here, but I'm afraid this facility has been abandoned for some time. Everything of value is gone, but please feel free to poke around.
Ah, it's not him, just an AI caretaker.
AI? Oh no.
This facility has always had a place in my heart. I must insist that you leave it in the condition in which you found it. And with that in mind, I won't keep you any longer. Thanks for dropping in.
Alright. I actually kind of think this might be the better part to stop, because here's my thinking, is that this part's a little rough, and I don't want to end on that. We'll start with sort of the rough part, and then be able to at least end with Vincent, which I think Vincent's when it starts to get good again here. So as soon as this cutscene's over, I'm actually going to call the stream.
I think we're trapped in here.
Like rats in a cage. No squeezing through those bars.
Huh? That duct, however, might just fit a cat.
Also, you could absolutely just go through the bars.
Right, I'll have you out in a jiffy.
Okay, so this is a good spot to save. Good evening. I'm so happy you got, you're happy that Brianna got Best Performance nomination for Earth at the Game Awards? I am too. I'm happy. And the first couple hours of the stream, I talked about the Game Awards extensively. I do think that she deserves the win. I don't think she had the best performance in the game, though. I do actually think Cody and John Eric Bentley had more technically innovative, performances. I understand why she was chosen, though. It makes sense. And she's still, I think, better than the alternatives there. I think that she probably won't win. I think that Luke Roberts probably has this in the bag. That's what most people on the streets are saying. I don't personally agree, but I know that that's, sort of what I've heard from both the populace and the journalists I know. So, but you did happen to catch me right at the end. You can check out the VOD on YouTube or Twitch. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been fantastic. I've been really enjoying coming back to streaming. You guys have been wonderful. So enjoy the VOD. Tomorrow what I'll do is we'll finish the Nibelheim chapter. So I'll be here tomorrow in the morning, probably 10 or 11 or so. Okay.